Hey everybody, Patty Ann here. First thing I'm going to do is show you how I went through the process of actually embroidering this super duper cute dinosaur on the t-shirt. I'm going to show you what steps I used inside of the t-shirt so that my piece just turned out beautifully without any wrinkles and humps and bumps. And then towards the end, I'm going to show you how I used Embrilliance Density Repair Kit to actually fix the file just a little bit to make it even that much better. I will have a link for you down below for the Density Repair Kit in case you want to check it out. And I prefer if you use my links if you're able, because it just gives me a teeny tiny commission so I can continue on. But anyway, let's get started with seeing how to make this fabulous shirt. I have my shirt laid out on my pressing surface, and I'm just gonna press it a little bit. And then I think I'll also use a little bit of my Terial Magic on it. In the hoop, I've already hooped this kind of Floriani that's called Perfect Stick Tearaway. So I made it, after I hooped it, I made a big X, and then I'm simply tearing away this coating, which is going to reveal the sticky stuff underneath onto which I will put the t-shirt. Also underneath, I'm going to float some medium cutaway. So that's giving it a nice stiff appearance right there. Okay, what I'm doing now is I'm just going to stick this up in through here, but I need to remember that this and this is the center of my hoop, not this. So I'm going to have this like this. this. Okay, so it's going to be like that. So let's look. Let's try to stick this up in here. And again, I'm going to bring this thing out the top, but as I said, I want this to be centered on my shirt. So that looks pretty well centered. I'm just eyeballing it. I could have folded this in half, which would have been a good idea probably. But I just am eyeballing it. So I'm pretty happy with that. If the dinosaur is a little off center or a little bit crazy looking, that's fine. So that's where that's going to be. Now let's see if he's going to fit there. Fold this up like this so we can get an idea of what he's going to look like. Fold this down here like this. And so he's going to go, let's see, where's the center? Right like that. So part of him's going to stitch up on the neckline a little bit. So I think I need to move it up just a tiny little bit. So it wasn't very good planning on my part. So I'm going to move it up just a little bit, a little further up. There we go. And again, kind of try to make sure that it's in the middle. That little line right there is in the middle. That looks pretty good. And then just smooth this all out like that. And it is good to go. Now, if I'd like to, what I could do is put a few pins in here. Let's see, I do have a couple of pins right close. So make sure it's out of where your stitching area is. That pin had some glue on it. Way up here. Just for extra precaution if I'd like. It's a nice flat pin. And let's see. Maybe over here. Make sure I'm not pinning the front and the back together. There we go. Okay, that looks good. All right, so now this is ready to go into my machine. And again, I can feel this, and that's going to go there. And where's the other piece? There. And then here and here. So that looks just about perfect. I think it's going to be really super cute. So I'm going to bring my machine over and get started. Okay, in order to put this into my machine, I am going to have to get the back out of the way. So I'm just going to go ahead and roll it up like this. It's much easier on something this large as opposed to a onesie. And roll it out of the way here. And then pull it through here, but not let it get hooked up. So hold on just a sec. Okay, I have my shirt all out, and I'm going to put it in here now, carefully, carefully, and put it into here. Try not to get it loose. Okay, now I'm going to make sure that there's nothing underneath where it should not be. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this piece of the tearaway stabilizer and float it, which seems like a weird thing to say to me because floating usually seems like it's on top to me, but when you float it underneath. I've made it large enough so I can feel it coming all the way out the back. Just like that's perfect. Now remember, the first thing that's going to stitch when we go to number 1, and I'm not sure if you can see, that will be the box that's going to hold this stabilizer into place. So I'm going to use the white thread, or the kind of creamy color. So that it will be easy for me to remove. In the end, it'll show up really well. Again, I'm making sure that nothing's in the way. I could even put a little tape on these if I wanted. Hold it back. Which probably wouldn't be a bad idea, or even a pin or two to hold this back out of the way over here. Kind of like this. And so I'm keeping it kind of rolled up a little bit. Maybe this one too. There we go. All right, so that'll probably work. Okay, the next thing to do is the peacock blue. Well, I didn't think peacock blue was going to show up very well on mine. So what it's actually going to be is his claws. So I've decided to make them this really, really bright green color. Thought it'd be kind of cool. Whoa, 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 whoa. I need to think about something for a minute. Do I have this the right way? Let me think. Do I have him upside down? You know, I have this upside down, and it's a good thing I noticed right now because all I've done so far was that box. So I'm going to cut this thread. And I'm going to go back to this and back, and I'm going to edit it. So can you see what I'm doing? Let's see. Maybe a little bit. Okay, I'm going to edit it, so which means I'm going to rotate it. Hit the rotate button, and I'm going to rotate it 90 degrees and 90 more degrees, because this is where the top is. So you see how his head is here? Here's his eyes, and his mouth is down here. So it's a good thing I noticed that. Okay, end edit. So again, my box should be just fine, but I can check it. Look there, and if I go there, this is letting me see where the box would be. Yeah, that's still perfect. So I can go back to the middle, just say okay, embroidery. And now I'm going to skip step number 2 because I've already done the box. So in order to skip a step, you just hit this plus minus here, and I'm going to go ahead one spool or one step. So I'm going to hit the plus. So now it should be on step number 2. Let's see, because step number 1, if we go back, was the box. Step number 2 are the claws, and we're ready to go now. Whoa, am I glad I saw that. So next after this will be a lot of black, and that's going to take 8 minutes. So I'm going to stop recording, and I'll be back after I do the black. Okay, I'm now on step number 4, which is the dark brown, and then after that will be the red of his mouth, and then the deep rose of his mouth. So far it's working out very, very well with the stabilizers I've chosen. I don't see any puckering whatsoever. So after I get done with the red and the rose, I'll be back. Next up for the eyes, we have a harvest gold look and a brown. So I'll do these next, and I'll be back to show you where we are. Okay, the next color I'm doing is an olive green, and it's the overall look for the dinosaur. And it says it's going to be 20 minutes, so a lot of stitching to go on here. Okay, as you can see, our little guy is finished. All I have to do now is to remove the basting box and remove all the stabilizer from the back. Also, I might want to go ahead and iron on a product called Dream Weave Fusible, if I'm afraid that maybe the backing of this might be a little too scratchy for Levi's chest. Although when I felt it when I was done, it didn't really seem bad to me. But if you think there is a problem, get something called Dream Weave Fusible. I got mine from Floriani. And now let's head up to Embrilliance so I can show you how I use the density repair kit. Okay, I have the density repair kit, so I want to show you what happened when I used it. This was the original Levi dinosaur that I brought in, and if you look down here, it has 39,718 stitches. So the first thing I did was I went to I brought it in again, and this time I ran this little vacuum cleaner that cleans up the stitches. And so I ran that, and that took it down to 35,718. So let's look. So that was 4,000 stitches less. Then the next thing I did was I came here and I ran this little thing right here, Project Advisor. And even though this isn't a sweatshirt, there was no t-shirt, and I'm not sure what I should use. So I tried sweatshirt, fabric light, and some stretch. And I said set the project, and that brought it down to 27,716 stitches. Okay, the next thing I like to do since I have Stitch Artist is just to come up here to where it says, where it says create, and that shows me these stitches right here where I can draw with points. I'm going to hold down my shift key, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to draw my own basting box around him. And the reason why is, remember I said I was going to float a piece of, I think, cutaway stabilizer underneath, And so I want that to be tacked down so it doesn't have a, the option of moving around or getting messed up. So I'll hold down my shift key and I'm going to get this and just click here and here and just keep clicking, and all the while holding down my shift key. I'm going to come all the way up to here, and then if I want I can go to close it. Now right now you'll notice these are just a line. There's not really stitches, and it's okay if it's a little cockeyed. Not cocky. I'm going to click on it and I'm going to say make it run stitches. And I'm going to make the run stitches about 3.5, maybe 4 something millimeters, because I don't want it to be a tight stitch. Say okay, it's a single run. I don't want it to run last. Notice it's in last position here. I want it to be the first thing to run. So I'm going to click on it to select it, and just while I have it held with my left mouse button down, I can bring it, except for I have a ruler in the way, all the way up to the top and drop it. Or even easier than that, what I can do is right click on it and say move first. So now you'll see it's the first thing that's going to happen. So if we look at the stitch simulator, first thing that's going to happen is that it's going to tack down, and then it's going to start with all of the rest of the dinosaur. Well, thanks so much for joining me today. Hey, I just think this dinosaur turned out so cute, and I know my grandson's going to love it. I hope you liked today's video, and if you did, please subscribe, hit the bell, give me a thumbs up, and share it across the social media if you're able. Also, don't forget, I'll have the link for the dinosaur down below. I'm not affiliated with the Etsy shop, and I'll have the links for the other things that I spoke about today. So again, thanks so much for joining me. See y'all again soon. Bye.